Boogie, drop that beat.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Talking Out Loud with Miss Talkative. Everything I say is my own opinion, alleged, and strictly entertainment purposes. Remember, I'm just talking out loud. Please like, share, subscribe, comment on the video, let me know what you think. Now, I had a chance to listen to the interview that Carlos did with Latisha Scott from Love and Marriage Huntsville. And in my opinion, the interview was underwhelming. It's just my opinion. Some may agree and some may not. It's fine. But this is just my opinion. This interview reminded me of when Donald Trump's wife, Melania Trump, did a whole speech, and it was later found out that she plagiarized the whole speech from First Lady Michelle Obama. And the reason it reminded me of that is because Donald Trump despised the Obama so much, but not so much. They couldn't overlook taking the First Lady Obama speech and giving it to Melania to recite as her own. And I feel like the interview between Carlos and Tisha, they did the same thing here. Tisha despised Melody so much, but not enough for Tisha not to copy and misconstrue Melody words and make them her own. Because anybody that watched Love and Marriage Huntsville and they have listened to Melody on her lives, listened to her interviews throughout the years, and now listen to this interview and listen to Latisha's responses in this interview, you'll be like, wait a minute, that ain't Latisha words. Those are not Latisha words. I know I done heard that from that's Melody. And that's just my opinion. I mean, you don't have to agree. Maybe I'm pushing it, but I doubt it. Now, I blame Carlos for this interview. I blame Carlos for Latisha's responses being put out there like that. And let me tell you why. Carlos is so heavily invested with the Housewives franchises, so much that he can spot when they lying a mile away. Oh, they lying, they faking. He's so invested that he probably got the cast down to the breath sounds to know when, it's some fakerism going on. He gonna make sure that he call the the other shows out. Oh, what are they doing over there? They need to keep it real. They need to show they real. They owe us another season because this was all fake. He makes sure he called them out. He gonna make sure he spot the fakeness, the lying, everything. Well, now, here we are. Welcome back to Love and Marriage Huntsville and Latisha Scott, who all of a sudden found God. She stated in this interview she had to take a hiatus from Twitter because the comments, the feedback, it all got to be too much. She couldn't take it anymore, so she had to take a break. She said she had to reach out to God and ask him to guide her life and let her know if this is the right thing for her. She had to ask God to remove people from her circle because she don't have drama in her life. She stated her mom was making things worse for her. She was truly depressed and had to pray and ask God to get her through all of this. She was so depressed she couldn't get out of bed. She was mean towards her kids. And basically, with God's help, she got through it all. And she didn't have to quit. I was like, where'd Tisha get these responses from? Because this ain't her. Just my opinion. Now, we thought Latisha was just copying Melody for her outfits and her hairstyles, like the one she have on in this interview. Latisha have on a burgundy wig, but Melody has that same wig in black that she has worn several times, and she also have the same wig in blonde and black, and she wore the blonde and black one to the meeting after the sit down for the core six after the Madani relaunch where the incident happened, and they all had to come together, sit down, and try to see how they can move forward. That's the wig Melody had on that day. That's the wig that Tisha has on in this interview, but Latisha's wig is all burgundy. It's burgundy. Anyway, like I said, we thought that Latisha was copying Melody for the hairstyles and the outfits, but no, it seems like Latisha is copying Melody Shari. The whole 9 yards. To me, my opinion, seemed like she's slowly trying to morph herself into Melody. Because, all of a sudden, the whole cast started, they just now all of a sudden start speaking on God, and seems like now everybody want to be on this spiritual journey. Now, I'm calling Latisha out on this fakerism regarding this interview, because it seems that her responses basically were cut straight from Melody's mouth. They just flow right on out, right to Tisha, and she just, basically changed up some events, switched some, some scenarios around. But yeah, to me, you ask me, those are Melody words. But anyway, in this interview, it seemed like outside of a few of her responses, we really didn't learn anything new. We already knew that Tisha had several degrees. We knew that she was the majority owner in scope, and we knew that her communication was her weakest point. We've seen it throughout the years on the show, and anytime she had an interview, we all knew that. So that was nothing new there. Well, we did learn a couple of things. We learned that she's actually 70% majority owner in scope. Now, we all knew that she was majority owner, but we never knew her percentage or how much. So now we know she's 70% owner in scope. She bought her first home when she got married. I didn't know that, but it's kind of like, like common sense, because when she stated that she was, about to go to, I believe it was Dallas, and then she came home for a visit and Marcel proposed. So yeah, it's kind of like common sense when she bought her marital home, but still, she spoke on that. Her fan page is called T Squad, and she actually stated that they are all business owners with no time for social media, and they only about their business. Did I take it as shade towards the millimeters? I did. Even though she don't know what the millimeters are about. She don't know if they own businesses, which I know several of them do. She don't know anything about them. So that little tidbit of information she could have kept to herself. But anywho, she also spoke on Kiki. She stated that Kiki had a rough 10-year, she had a rough patch, for the past 10 years. And basically, Tisha wants a thank you from Kiki and Wanda for bringing them on the show. And I'm like, wait a minute. Latisha, you didn't bring Latisha on the show. You probably brought your mama Wanda on the show, but Kiki, from my understanding is Kiki's way up on the show was through Melody, because when she came to you, you told her that she wasn't ready. And when Melody and her and their mutual best friend was at a luncheon, I believe, and the best friend spoke to Melody and stated Kiki was interested in getting on the show, and Melody stated, well, I didn't know that, and basically used her resources to get her on the show. So I don't believe Kiki owed you a thank you. And if her and Mel is good, then you should be fine. And I don't know if you feel as though she owe you a thank you because y'all are family and now she's on a show that you've been on for the past several years. But I don't believe you got her on the show. Now correct me if I'm wrong, someone. But that's the story that I heard. And I'm sticking to it because that's the one that I heard. I didn't hear anything different. Now I know she first filmed with Kiki, I believe, but I believe she made her way onto the show through Melody. Anyway, I believe that Tisha actually probably sabotaged Kiki anyway, because my thing is, why else would Tisha and Marcel go to the hosts and tell them Kiki's business? And it came close to the Scott's 2.0 or Kiki and her husband. And I believe that if it went down that way, Latisha, because Marcel is her husband, she's going to ride with him, whomever he chooses. And of course, he's riding for his brother, Maurice, the Scott's 2.0. So they needed to eliminate Kiki and her husband to move Kimmy and Maurice up the ladder. So therefore, I believe that's why they told the host Kiki's business. Just my opinion. But I'm just stating that only because you didn't want to help her get on the show, but now that she's on the show, you want to thank you. I call BS. And it just proves that you are still, you still a mean girl. So you can all, get on this spiritual journey and say that you found God and you don't have drama in your life, but you do. You just try to appease to other people or whatever, because you people are saying that you're a bully, you're a mean girl and stuff like that. And I still do believe that you're a mean girl and you're a bully, because when Carlos asked you, would you give Kiki the blueprint? You said, ain't no blueprint. You was like, this is my life. She wanted to be on the show. She stated she wanted to be on TV. You wanted it, you got it, so be happy. Ain't no blueprint. I said, well, dang, that's kind of mean to you for the person that stated that if someone came to you, and she stated this in an interview, she stated that if someone came to her and told her what they wanted to do, anything that, if it was something that she could help with, she would use her resources to help them get on the show. Or to help, not help them get on the show, but she would help them to do whatever. She would use her resources, her connects, to try to help them do, to move in the direction that they wanted to move in. So when Carlos asked you, would you give Kiki the blueprint? You like, no, ain't no blueprint. And I thought that was like kind of bold, because first of all, this is your cousin. So basically you want your family to always look up to you. And you stated that Kiki had a rough 10 years. So why wouldn't you take her under your wing? She's on the show now. Why wouldn't you take her under your wing, help her out, and, try to help, show her the ropes of how to actually make it on the show, so she won't become another Destiny and get kicked off of after a year. But I guess you really didn't want Kiki on the show after all, because now that she's on there, you won't even help her stay on there. You just, worried about self. And she did state, no, ain't no blueprint. This is my life. And I mean, she said that you can't do anything but respect that. And I just hope that Kiki was listening, where she could actually start to open up and speak her truth, because Tisha is basically telling you, nope, I'm not doing anything to help her out. This is my life. I'm going for mine. You go for yours. This is what you want. You got it. So deal with it. Whatever comes with it, you deal with it. Like, I guess basically like she had to. And instead of Tisha saying, well, let me help my cousin out because, somebody helped me, because yes. And I say somebody helped you because you and the Scotts, y'all weren't showing y'all reality. Y'all were riding the coattails of the hoax for the past several years. Y'all on the #1 show because of the hoax, not because anything you did or your husband did or Scott's 2.0 did. Y'all on the #1 show on OWN only because of Melody and Martell. So somebody helped you. And yes, I say helped because Melody pitched the show, got y'all on the show, and I don't care what you say about you shouldn't have to keep saying thank you. Nobody asking you to kiss her butt. Nobody's asking you to kiss her butt. What we stated was, don't get so high on the horse where you tried to, where y'all was trying to bully her and trying to make yourself better than her and trying to put her down and because what she was going through with Martell and her divorce. And so people were just reminding y'all, wait a minute, hold on. If it wasn't for this lady here, Melody, none of y'all would have this platform. So nobody was asking y'all to kiss her behind. What we were saying was, humble yourself. First of all, she's a producer on the show. She helped create it. So, and y'all been riding her coattail for the last several years. And here you go telling Carlos that you shouldn't have to continue to thank somebody for doing something for you. But then yet Carlos turns around and said, well, wait a minute. You always saying thank you to me. And he stated himself, I always say thank you. I'll say thank you to anybody, to everybody. I thank my cast all the time. Thank my staff. I thank everybody. So it's nothing wrong with being humble. And nobody, like I said, nobody's saying that you have to say thank you every time you see somebody, or you have to just straight up kiss their behind. We just said humble yourself because you're going out kind of bold. Your horns are showing. But anyway, I do believe that this interview that Latisha did with Carlos King was so underwhelming, because I don't believe that majority of the words that Latisha spoke were her own. And it's just my opinion. I'm sticking to it. I'm just talking out loud. Please like, share, subscribe, comment on the video. Let me know what you think.